Garrett Blevins here with my second day of week one on the Kingpin-RTS split. Today I had low bar, high bar, competition bench, and close grip bench presses. I left quite a few of my sets in here, but I cut them pretty quick in between so that you can get through all of them. There's quite a few. Ended up working for 5 sets of 2 with 585. The main focus of today was depth. I've been a little worried about my depth lately and wanted to make sure I could still get down there. I think I hit pretty good depth on all these reps here. Warm-ups felt real good, and most of the first work I had here with 485 felt really good as well. I had a little bit of my right knee coming in. I think I had a slightly wider stance than I normally do, and just a little bit out of the hole. My knee came in some on a few of the reps today, but all in all, pretty good. I have had tendonitis in my left elbow lately, and I'm pretty sure it's from holding the bar a little bit lower than I have probably in the last few cycles. And I'm just trying to work through and get a lower low bar position. However, that's also causing some other issues. So you see I have a knee sleeve that I've had for a while. I put that on today, and that helped out a little bit. Today I had one of the first failures on the Kingpin cycle due to just weakness. This was supposed to be a triple, and I could only get 2 reps out of it. Depth was not quite as low with the high bar close stance. Definitely a lot weaker with the close stance work. But that rep looked pretty fast, but I knew that there was no way I was going to get it up for a third rep. So I decided what I was kind of thinking about. I'm still testing out the auto regulation with the RTS system, but I was then thinking, well, I'll do 4 sets of 2, or make rather 6 sets of 2 for a volume protocol. However, this is a max effort day with the Kingpin, and so the volume protocol didn't work well with the weight. I definitely should have lowered it if I was going to do 6 sets of 2. So 4 sets of 2 is the volume protocol, but there was no way I was going to do that. And so on this set, I took a little bit bigger rest in between the sets, widened my stance for the third rep, and was able to knock out 3. But that would have been an RPE 10 on that last rep there. So I decided to call it with 2 sets of 2 and 1 set of 3. I'm just going to have to think through how exactly to best marry the Kingpin and RTS programs, but maybe on max effort days, I should go with intensity protocols and leave out the volume protocols on max effort days, or I'll have to lower the percentage from the Cube Kingpin. It'll have to be one or the other because it's just too difficult to use the max effort weights with the Kingpin program and then combine that with volume protocol, which makes sense now that I think about it. I should have thought about that before I started. Bench press went pretty good. I did 3 sets of 8 with 300. All of these felt pretty good, and I took short rests in between. I have to be pretty conscious about where I bring my elbows down when I start to get the tendonitis from squats, and that actually helps me stay tighter at the bottom. And I was pretty happy with these sets. I then moved on to close grip, and this cycle I'm dedicating myself to actually use a real close grip width. And so this one was a little wide, but the rest of the sets that I did 6 sets of 3. I brought my grip in pretty close, closer than it's been before, and those went well. I was working with the 5th and 6th graders this Wednesday, and the question came up in class: if God is so much stronger than the powers of evil that are out there, why doesn't God just automatically get rid of all the stuff that's wrong in the world? Just kind of snap his fingers and fix everything. And that's a great question. That's a question I've had for quite a while. It seems like God could set things right. Why wouldn't he do it? And you see the psalmist often crying out with this same question. Here, this is from Psalm 42. I say to God, my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why do I go on mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? And this is just the sentiment of, why are things so bad? And why aren't you coming to save me? It acknowledges that God, the rock, the steadfast foundation, the powerful one that can set things right, is there, but isn't doing it. And this is a reoccurring theme in the Psalms. And if we look at the life of Jesus, especially in Lent, we see that sometimes we have to wait for God's deliverance. I've spoken on that before, but I think there are good reasons why. There might be a lot of them, but the one that came to mind in the class that I brought up is that if God is to allow freedom and choice and allow people to form their characters by making those choices, then there's going to be the possibility, one, for failure and evil, but also we grow through pain. Part of the joy and the reason I enjoy powerlifting is the journey of powerlifting. That's just as important as the results. And so often we want the result of God's deliverance, but there might be some lessons that we can learn, some disciplines that we can go through, some faithfulness, attitudes and character traits of faithfulness to God that are forged through those suffering times. And I'm glad there are Psalms that speak to that.